I started using at a very young age. I'm from Hanover, Virginia, here locally in Richmond. I started using drugs and alcohol at age 12 and just kind of dipping and dabbling starting at age 12. I didn't have really much structure at home, so I could kind of do whatever I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And I was hanging out with an older crowd, so I started using very, very young. I kind of had to grow up quickly in my home lifestyle that I was living at that time. The people that I was hanging out with, they were all doing heroin, and I swore I would never do heroin because I had already lost two friends to heroin at such a young age. They were probably 18 and 19. They passed away from an overdose, and I swear I was just gonna smoke weed and smoke crack, and like I would never stick a needle in my arm, and I would never do heroin. And I remember this day, and I do not know how I remember this day. I was at my mom's house on the porch with a couple of, I always hung out with guys. I was always one of the dudes. And I'll never forget, and we were smoking, it was called a jum, which was a blunt with marijuana and crack in it. And he told me, he was like, "You sure you don't want to do this? Because, you know, you coming off of cocaine, you kind of freak out a little, and it's called geeking, and you just kind of just anxiety times 10,000. And I'll never forget, he's like, "Do you want to do a line of heroin?" And at first I was like, "No, I'll just deal with it." And then I was like, "Sure, why not? Y'all are doing it. Y'all are okay." Like, this is the beginning stage of it. I was 17. I was still naive, even though I thought I knew everything. And no one was really stealing or like going to jail or anything. So I felt like heroin was like, okay, I'll just do it every now and then. And I did it that day, and I never smoked crack or did cocaine again in my whole addiction. I loved the euphoric feeling from it, and I loved just kind of getting out of myself and being able to fit in. Like, I could talk and talk and talk and be able to be part of the in crowd, even though we were all a bunch of drug addicts, but I felt like that was the in crowd. It felt good at first using them. It felt good that I didn't have to deal with feelings. I didn't have to talk about, major issues. I just kind of went to work and I did heroin when I got off, and every weekend, 24/7 then. And then after about a year of trying to do it on my own, I overdosed, and I overdosed on heroin, and then I got revived with Narcan. Years and years of just trauma and disgust, and the things that I did to the people closest to me, stealing and begging for money and lying. I mean, my name is honesty, and I did not live up to that for 14 years of my life for sure. I thought having a child would change me. I thought, God put a child, it's a gift, and put her in my womb to be able to stop. I thought that was my ticket out of drug addiction. I was like, okay, I'm pregnant, I'll never use again. Well, that didn't happen, and she was born addicted to drugs, and she's amazing today. There was no effects from it after she did detox. And even that didn't stop me. I've done all kinds of different things as far as therapy and different treatments and different meetings and stuff like that. And the disease of addiction took over. For 14 years of my life, I didn't know how to stop using drugs and alcohol. At some points of that addiction, I didn't want to stop. My early addiction to now, it's like the stuff that escalates, from the weed to the LSD to the alcohol to the coke, now to the heroin and opiates. And it's like not even just the drugs escalating to worse and worse and worse, but to the things that I did to get drugs. Like I said in the beginning, it was fun and easy and yay, let's party, have fun, hang out with your friends. And then it takes over your whole mind, body, and soul.